Hello and welcome to our podcast, Business Low Pro. In our podcast, we will be discussing the latest developments in the field of international business and technology. My name is Anna Tompovsky, and I'm a business attorney in Miami, joined by my co-host, Kendron Jones, who's a regulatory and compliance specialist. This podcast is brought to you by topnotchstudios.com, and you can subscribe to us on YouTube at businesslowpro.com and on any podcast platform that you are using. We're also on Instagram, same name, Business Low Pro. You can sign up for our newsletter as well at businesslowpro.com. So I think I've done all of my spiel. Kendron, what are the news in the field of technology?
AI is at it again, child. We're going to talk about intellectual property rights with AI.
Let's do that.
So, Shein, or Shein.
It's Shein.
Is it?
For our subscribers that don't know what Shein is, it's a platform from China, right?
Mm-hmm. Fast fashion.
Fast fashion.
Very, very fast.
How fast is the delivery from Shein?
I mean, my God. They are turning these designs around. I'm just saying,
wow.
Very, very quickly.
Wow.
And so that's part of the problem. 3 designers have sued Shein and alleged that they are using AI to steal their designs. So they're seeing things that are popular, that are getting popular online, and they're just using AI to go ahead and rip the entire thing off.
How interesting is that? So do you think AI is basically going in and tracing the subscribers to designers' fashion, or what's the mechanism? What do you think? How do they pull that information off of?
Well, we've talked about, in our last episode, we talked about scraping of social media. So if you're seeing something coming up again and again on social, I imagine that Shein has some sort of AI that they're using, that they're using to, accumulate things that have a lot of likes. And seeing which ways that they can replicate them. And this designer, one of the designers, I believe, did rugs, and her designs were actually appearing on things that were not rugs. It was like clothes and trinkets and whatever else Shein has, probably bags and everything. And that was, the concern was that they're stealing these designs. And then the second part of this case is a RICO element to this case, which is racketeering and organized crime laws, and basically saying that Shein has made it impossible, nearly impossible, to get in touch with them. They have layered and have all of these business enterprises, this very complicated web of ownership where they have all of these businesses owning parts of the business, and you can't get to anyone. Like an average consumer cannot get to anyone. It seems like maybe you can get to them through a lawyer, but that's probably just because they're scared. But so and like they're not even offering these designers, once it's raised to their attention, these copyright claims are raised to their attention, they are basically offering the designers peanuts for the amount of money they're going to get paid off of these designs, like $500 for your design.
How interesting is that? So I always thought that Shein was sort of like a trading platform, but you're saying that they own a portion of the businesses that are manufacturing designs and are being sold through the platform? I
imagine so. Like I imagine that they own all of these things, and this is a pretty standard business practice of shell companies and all of offshore companies, and they just aren't being super transparent about how their business is structured, which is making it harder to get to the owners and even serve them with proper paperwork and things of that nature.
Interesting. Well, actually, I think there is a way now to serve a company through Instagram.
Is there?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
There are developments. I'm not gonna allegedly. Now, as a lawyer, I have to say allegedly because I remember discussing this case about 3 or 4 months ago. But I want to look it up, and maybe we'll discuss it in the next episode.
We totally should.
Coolest thing, right? Yeah. Somebody showed up on Instagram or they're online. You're served. You're like, ah!
Also, subscribe to our newsletter, because that would be something great.
We will
could
definitely discuss.
Let our subscribers know when that comes down, or when we find out more information about that.
Because with that, there would be obviously jurisdictional issues.
Yeah.
So if the manufacturer is located in Zhuhai, China, and you're trying to serve them with papers from New York, USA, how is it going to work, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can actually do that.
Yeah. So that's the Shein thing. Then we know that the writers and the actors in Hollywood are on strike.
Yes.
So part of this is AI driven as well, as it turns out. So
Really?
yeah. So the actors want to know how AI is going to be used for their I don't know how they're going to be using all of the data that they get from them acting in these things. How are they going to use that? How are the studios going to use that? Can they use it in future projects? Can they use it only in this project? Is this going to do away with the need for stunt doubles and extras and things of that nature? Because if you have the person's likeness and you can just kind of program it to do other things in the, what do you call it, in some sort of AI, then you maybe you don't need a stunt double or a body double for certain things.
That's true. And also, I would imagine that, I mean, studios are owners of the scripts, right? And I don't know how much of an intellectual property concern is that in the writer's work out there. But if you are limiting your rights for for a studio to use this work of yours, the questions are, what if this right is not properly limited, and how do you limit that for use and for use with AI platforms?
That's it, exactly. And the studios have, in their offering, basically offered to pay people to come in for a day and for them to receive all of their likeness. Like, I guess they get them to talk or say certain words, or like things that they can, piece together and use in the future. So that's a part of the negotiations. The studios have said that they will do that. They want to pay someone to come in and do that, but then they get to use... So basically, they're paying for a day's worth of work, which might have been a month's worth of work, if they can just use AI to, produce all of this additional work. It's going to cut what the actors are actually getting paid to do, and potentially cut their amount of working time.
But the issue here is with, first of all, the accuracy of work, if it's factual work. And another issue here is with potentially using somebody else's product without that person's authorization, because sometimes a writer mentions somebody's work in their work that they're given to the studio, and then if it's going to be used for a different project or something else, again, there's so many questions out there.
And you've hit on the actors. Their primary concern is like, okay, even if we agree to that part where we come in and give you all the data for a day, I need to know that it's going to be limited to this work. So that's part of the negotiation that's going on. I think this is also going to come up with the writer's strike, because obviously AI has been used to write things. Like, that's what it's been used primarily for at this point. So the writers are like, we don't want you here writing scripts with AI. You know what I mean? But while they're on strike, it's a possibility that studios may start doing that, at least to outline the work, and then maybe get somebody else to sort of fill in the details.
There absolutely has to be some kind of a framework for people using AI technology in any way, shape, or form, right? It doesn't have to be called AI, but an active learning program, right? Whatever you're using it for. And the use of it should be more transparent. Obviously, if you're using proprietary information, if you are using a licensed product,
or someone's likeness.
Or someone's likeness.
Especially someone's likeness, because you can be making, the AI say something that person doesn't necessarily agree with and wouldn't want to stand behind.
Exactly. Exactly. Good point, well made. Actually, that reminds me of a case that happened in New York a couple of months ago. One of the attorneys decided to ease his burden of legal research and did it through Chat GPT, I believe. and he did not double check the information that ended up on his affidavit, which was a made up information.
Well, because that's the thing with Chat GPT in particular. And everyone who has used it and everyone who has reviewed it will tell you it lies. It doesn't tell you, I don't know.
Yeah.
It says it will go and make some stuff up and state it as fact.
Exactly.
That's what it seems to happen with this attorney. It was like Chat GPT gave him case citations and everything. Exactly. I mean, in blue book format.
Yeah.
Like, it was right. And the judge had his clerks go and look over the citations, only to find that the citations did not in fact exist because Chat GPT had made them up.
And you see, that is actually quite good, because at least we know that some of the judges and clerks are checking the citations.
Yes.
Because imagine, had this not been checked, there would have been some new precedent coming out of that
on false cases.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would like to thank you for listening to us. If you do like our podcast, please do subscribe to our newsletter. And do subscribe to our podcast. Our newsletter is available on businesslowpro.com, and our podcast, you can find it on YouTube, on any podcast platform that you are subscribing to. Now, YouTube is Business Low Pro, and same should be for all of your podcasts. Thank you so much for being with us, and we hope to see you and hear your comments and read your comments on our social medias. Bye.